boy, do I have a story for you.
A story.
It's story time, folks.
Story time.
And so there was a woman who lived in Alabama. And when she came home, somebody had toilet papered her whole yard. I mean, there was toilet paper like over the house. It was in the shrubs. It was in the grass. But she had this big, beautiful magnolia tree as the centerpiece of her yard. And somebody had thrown that thing up like 40 something feet up in the air. And so she is just furious. How could somebody...
So they toilet papered the magnolia tree.
Yes, they threw it all in the magnolia
Oh,
tree.
my.
So she's so mad, like, who did this? And so she sets about trying to, clean up all this mess. She's raking the lawn and meticulously pulling it out of the shrubs and got it off the house. And she gets a tall ladder and she gets up in the tree and she's pulling it out of the tree. But eventually she gets to a point where there's some things that she just can't get to. It's just way up there and it's just bothering her so badly. And so in her anger, she remembers and thinks about this, that there's something that she could do to get rid of the paper, and that is to burn it. And so she gets on the ladder and she lights some of that toilet paper on fire. Yes, she did. And in the process, the tree just got engulfed with flame. Whew, this is her magnificent magnolia. And the problem was she's pulling down the ladder. She's freaking out, trying to run around. And as the ashes are falling from the tree, it catches the lawn on fire, catches the shrubs on fire.
Is this a true story?
And burns her house.
This isn't a true story.
It's a true story. And so this all happened. When it was all said and done, she ended up losing everything.
Oh my gosh.
Because she overreacted to a problem.
Don't toilet paper magnolia trees.
So today we're going to talk about conflict and correction. Welcome to the LABC Life Podcast.
Conflict. So conflict can mean like clashing together. And many people try to avoid conflict because clashing can be uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But all conflict is not bad. It's really how we handle it that determines if it's good or bad.
Right.
And there's a scripture in Proverbs 17, which is our focus chapter of today. Verse 1 says, "Better a dry crust eaten in peace than a house filled with feasting and conflict."
Yeah, and so kind of remember that verse from yesterday about the ox and how an ox is messy.
A couple days ago.
Right, a few days ago.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
This is kind of similar that...
like it's better to eat vegetables, with a friend, but eat steak with, your enemies. And
right.
Yeah.
But the idea here is sometimes we try to avoid conflict or we don't deal with it. And then when we finally do, usually we don't handle it well. So, some people, they're trying to escape it. They're trying to avoid it altogether. Some people, man, they just go from battle to battle and they're always on the offensive, looking for a problem.
Yeah.
Turn everything into a fight.
Drama.
And I'm reminded that old song that everybody was kung fu fighting. Woo, ah. And those sparks of one small thing.
Kung fu fighting is cool. And so they might think, oh, let's have a conflict.
Some people see conflict as fun. But I think the majority of us hate conflict. It hurts so much.
I don't
but
like it.
Little sparks can turn into a blaze if we don't manage the chain reaction.
Right.
So why do we have conflicts? What's some of the things that you can think of?
There can be many reasons why we have conflict, because we're all different. I mean, different personalities, different spiritual gifts, different experiences in life. So we're not going to understand each other and just actions, and that creates conflict in itself. We're going to be clashing together.
Yeah, think about sometimes we just would think automatically, I would do that differently.
Yeah.
Why did you do it that way?
Right.
Well, because I am different.
Because I'm different. I'm not you, so I don't think like you. And that leads to misunderstandings. Like we don't communicate well and we don't listen well a lot of times. So people even don't understand what we're saying, which is kind of mind boggling for me when I can
Mm.
tell you something and you totally interpret it differently.
And that's part of
And then
just
you think, well, why would you think that? And I'm like, I didn't think that. And you're like, yes, you did. You just said it. I'm like, no, I didn't say that. And then it takes like another 20 minutes for you to understand
right, because
what I was talking
misunderstandings,
about.
and that's our second point. Sometimes we just misunderstand altogether. And
Yeah.
partly it could be due to a lack of good communication skills,
Mm,
but it also could be because we don't listen well,
yeah, that's true.
right? Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe we're listening through our differences.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised this way, you experienced this. And so
And
sometimes
so
the
our
way we,
experiences lead to misunderstandings
it
too.
does.
Yeah.
I'm coming from a different place than you are.
Mm-hmm.
And so we should have grace for people, understanding we are different.
Right.
Part of the reason that we have conflict also is because we act selfishly, right?
Mm.
We choose to do things that are important to us, but we don't consider what's important to them.
That's true. Yeah. And that can cause a lot of hurt. And, just to think, oh, this person thinks they're more important than me. They don't care about me or what I think or do. And there you go. You have a conflict there.
Yeah. I know this is funny. We're coming up not too long until we get to Valentine's Day, but I love the intentionality of I'm going to try to do something special for somebody else.
Mm.
Well, it's just basically just saying I'm going to put their needs and their wants higher than my own for a
Yeah.
moment
Yeah.
to show them how much I care.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't we do that in life in
Every
general?
day.
Every day, yeah.
Yeah. You'd avoid a lot of conflicts that way, I think.
Hmm.
Maybe.
But there's another piece too, and this is the hard one. That when we have a conflict because we did it wrong, we actually
Mm.
did something wrong.
Mm.
And in those moments, uh, we don't like being called out for it, you know?
Mm-mm. Scripture in Matthew 18:15 says, if your brother sins against you, go and tell him his fault between you and him alone. Why are they confronting me? Because it's what the Bible told them to do. And it says, if
Mm.
you listen, you gain a brother. So that's
Yeah, so
important.
in conflict, I love this because the Bible tells them, hey, if you're working with somebody and they do something wrong by you, you are biblically supposed to go to them and talk to them about it. Say, hey,
Right.
this wasn't good. And it's a part of an opportunity for us both to grow.
So conflict could be just simply confronting someone.
It can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be confronting, hey, you didn't say the truth. You promised to do this, but you didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, after we have the conflict, there's only two results that are going to happen here. Either one, we're going to gain a brother and we're going to walk closer together,
Mm-hmm.
or the other side is you're probably going to break relationship with each other.
Mm,
And
yeah.
you're going to start trying to avoid them because every time you see them, it causes you to have those bad feelings and those bad thoughts, and
Mm-hmm.
that person becomes associated with pain. And we don't want that. We want this conflict to work to purify us.
Yeah.
And that's another verse
Scripture,
here.
yeah. So verse 2 of Proverbs 17 says, fire tests the purity of silver and gold, but the Lord tests the heart. And tests can come by how you react during a conflict. It says here, fire tests the purity, God tests the heart. Really, we want to see that conflict can be used by God to reveal our heart, what is coming out,
Right.
of our heart during times of stress or clashing moments in life.
Honestly, it's our problems that really are our best locators.
Mm-hmm.
When we have a problem, it's like all of our focus gets channeled onto this one thing. And so we're digging.
Mm-hmm.
We're searching it. We're trying to find a solution, and it's a great time
Mm-hmm.
for us to evaluate, hey, am I doing something that's producing something bad?
Yeah.
Or is there something that somebody else is doing that's causing this to not work?
Well, that's why in the word we see it says no corrupt communication should be coming from your mouth. So yes, you can have a conflict without talking, with corrupt communication.
Right. You don't have
You
to
don't
be
have to be
mean,
mean. You don't have to be
nasty.
pushy. You don't have to
Right.
be angry, like the alpha trying to control, that type of thing. You can have disagreement, but still be, using choice words,
Right.
pure words.
So we really have to change our mindset.
Mm-hmm.
When we have a problem and we have conflict, we need to start looking at this as more of an opportunity to actually grow closer together.
Yeah.
Because if we have a conflict and we actually can work through it, it means that we actually have a stronger relationship.
Yeah.
And if we have conflict and we don't, then basically we ruin a relationship. So we need to look at
Mm-hmm.
this as an opportunity. This is a moment that we can build strength.
Yeah. So if you're clashing, what would love's response be? It would be like, hey, let's have a conversation. Let's talk about this thing. Let's work through it together. And I think a lot of that has to do with putting down your pride too. Because when you don't want to work out a
Mm.
situation, when you're like, no, this is the only way, this problem can be solved, that's really prideful. And you need to
And
put
selfish.
yourself into check, right?
Mm.
When that happens and just realize, okay, what is, this person seeing and feeling and thinking too? It doesn't necessarily mean you have to agree on everything
Right.
because that's not what conflict
No.
resolvement doesn't mean you agree, but it means you can
Mm.
respect the differences of a
Yeah,
person
I had
and
I had a really good friend of mine
listen.
that they had seen a bad example of a husband and wife,
Mm.
and that the father always just said yes, yes, whatever you say, yes. And then whenever they went to go do whatever they had agreed they were supposed to do, they just did what they wanted to do. So
Mm.
they basically were just saying, I'm going to appease you, but whenever it actually counts, I'm going to do what I want anyway.
Oh,
And
that's like
that's
lying.
horrible.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's not real relationship.
No.
So, but when somebody does confront you, or maybe you're confronting somebody else, there's a part here that we need to understand that love is going to grow
Mm-hmm.
when we start dealing with our problems.
Right. Verse 3 says, love prospers when a fault is forgiven, but dwelling on it separates close friends. So when we forgive each other, that's when love is going to prosper. That's when, those areas that we do have conflict in, maybe we'll be able to make some changes,
Right.
and forgiving each other
Well,
instead of being separated
if you're going
from
to
each
have a
other.
future with this person, if you're going to have a future friendship, or if it's a coworker, or
Mm.
maybe even somebody in the family, oh Lord help us, we got to think about our future,
Yeah, we
right?
do. Yeah.
But sadly, some people refuse to face the truth. So how
Yeah.
do you deal with them?
Verse 10 says, a single rebuke does more for a person of understanding than 100 lashes on the back of a fool.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That's an amazing visual. So
Mm.
you're saying for somebody who's wise, one rebuke is going to make a difference, where somebody
Yeah.
who doesn't want to receive it, you could beat them up and beat them up and beat them up.
Yeah.
They ain't changing.
No.
Yeah.
But, it might take people, you got to give people time to digest too. Like you can't just splurt all these things that are wrong with someone or that need to be changed and then expect them to be like, okay, I understand it all. Okay,
Right.
it's going to change.
Right.
Yay.
Right. People
No,
need time.
yeah, they need time. They might have to digest those words that you're speaking and then just kind of think, okay, how can I make this work in my life? How can I make those changes happen? So we have to have patience during conflict as well.
And then there's another funny scripture, verse 12.
It is safer to meet a bear robbed of her cubs than to confront a fool caught in foolishness.
It's
Ooh.
safer to wrestle with a bear who lost her cubs than it is for you to deal with a fool. So just understand, if you go into conflict with somebody,
Confront a fool.
there is going to be some of them that
They
it's
attack
like,
worse than a bear.
yeah, they're coming.
Worse than a mama bear who
Yeah.
lost her cubs. That's pretty bad, I would think, because
So-
mama bears defend.
Here's the truth. Fools attack when they get cornered.
Yeah. That's
So are we acting like a fool? I know when I just said that
was it Mr. T that said, I pity the fool?
I'll pity the fool. I know that whenever I just made that last statement, probably the majority of our listeners when I said a fool attacks when they're confronted, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that most of you were thinking about the other person. But I want you to think about
Think about
yourself.
yourself.
How many times have we been on the defense? I mean, as soon as somebody says something,
And that's really bad too, whenever you can dish it out, but you can't take it.
in our
Oh my gosh, that's like the worst thing for me. That's like my pet peeve is if, I see somebody who is very strong with their words and very strong with their correction, but anytime someone points out something else to them, it's like, oh, well,
yeah,
they freak out or they like all of a sudden you
yeah,
hate
right,
me.
right.
You have hate speech, It's
Talk
just
about a double standard.
it's not
Yeah.
balanced.
So I can speak, but you can't speak. I can say truth,
That's
but you
being
can't
foolish,
say. Yeah.
folks. It is.
That's a bully.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but there's in verse 17, the same passage. I love this is one of our few proverbs that has linking thoughts. A
Says,
friend.
yeah, a friend is always loyal, and a brother is born to help in time of need.
So,
So,
in changing our mindset when we face a conflict, I want you to see this as somebody trying to help you,
yeah, challenging you.
right?
We need challenges in life.
We need people to challenge
We
us,
do. Yeah, that's the only way a lot of times that we can grow
right?
is through
And a wise
challenges.
person will listen and hear it. You may not understand everything that that person's trying to say,
Mm-hmm.
but a wise person is listening with the ear of how can we heal? How can we help?
Yeah, what about those people though that love conflict and they don't want to change and they like the clash? They like the feeling of the clash.
Yeah, it's hard because they have weaponized conflict, right?
Mm.
And
It's
many
like they want drama.
they don't.
Are they used to drama in their life?
I don't think they understand what they're doing,
Mm.
honestly.
Yeah.
But these people, they just go from relationship to relationship. They just keep burning bridges, and it's always the other person's fault,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't matter where I go. All the churches are the same. Wherever I go, I'm always
That's a
finding
big indicator of someone who can't handle conflict very well
or truth.
or
Yeah,
truth. Yeah.
yeah. So relationships, though, for us to grow in them, we have to understand that the reason why we have conflict. This is good, folks. The reason why we have conflicts is because we need unity.
Mm.
And what we've done is the conflict exposes we're not in unity.
Mm-hmm.
So how can we get in unity? Because where unity is, that's where the Spirit of God is.
Yeah.
That's where His anointing is. And it's such a powerful thing.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about just quickly some real quick tips to help you manage conflict. Number one, slow down.
Mm.
If you recognize, hey, you're coming at me, bro. Hey, realize it. Slow down your words. Open up your ear and listen and think about what you're going to say in response.
Yeah.
Don't just react.
Be slow to speak, right?
Quick to hear,
Quick
slow to speak.
hear, slow to speak.
Number two,
Clear communication helps tremendously when emotions are high. So, just be very concise with your words, be very clear. Don't put a lot of just hammering. 'Cause you know what I'm talking about when you hammer someone down, it's like you're beating them down with your words. Just, be honest. Like I said the other just the beginning of this podcast is honesty is so key in having a real relationship with people and dealing with conflict. Tell them your feelings. And then sometimes our feelings aren't, what is truth,
true,
what's truly happening.
Right.
So maybe the other person can understand where you're coming from
and hope.
and help you to understand where they're coming
Just
from.
realize emotions are high and let there be some space for that.
Yeah.
But don't inflate as you're talking. Just keep it clear.
Yeah.
The next thing is if something is said that you didn't understand or you didn't like, ask for clarification. Hey, I thought I heard you say this. This is how it made me feel. Is that what you were trying to get across?
Right.
And it gives the other person a chance to clarify it. And then the last piece is to understand this. Not every disagreement is going to be resolved easily.
Yeah.
Some things may take years.
Mm-hmm.
Some things might be a couple weeks. Some things, it might be just a 15-minute conversation. But understand real relationships won't give up, and they'll keep fighting, not to harm, but to guard each other.
Yes.
And not to get in offense.
Yeah. So we need to be gracious with each other. We need to
Forgive
be
quick.
quick to forgive. And then we need to guard our heart from offense. And this is a big one with conflict. People get offended, and that shuts them down from listening to the other person. So if you find yourself being offended by other people's words, that you need to watch that and to check your heart, because offense is like, a bad root. It's
Mhm.
really, it can destroy a person. It
Right.
can destroy any relationships, people try to have with other people.
Right. Being offensive or defensive, either way, you need to take down the fence.
Yeah, take down the fence.
We're just trying to share today from our heart.
Hmm.
When you face real relationships, conflict is going to happen.
Yeah.
We need to give people mercy, grace, hear with wisdom, and understand at the end of the day, if we handle this right, we're actually going to be stronger together. God bless you. Thank you for joining us today as we walk through the ways of wisdom. We'll see you tonight for our time of reflection and prayer.
Bye, everyone.